As to the charge of murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
Nearly 3.5 years after a brutal killing that rocked an upstate neighborhood, a jury has found Zachary Hughes guilty of murder in the death of Christina Parcell. The jury taking just 3 hours to reach a verdict after an emotionally grueling 2 weeks inside the courtroom.
Hughes killed Christina Parcell in October of 2021. Deputies say Parcell was found stabbed more than 30 times inside of her home in the Canebrake neighborhood, a quiet area of Greenville County near Greer. Weeks after that murder, Hughes was taken into custody. Court filings revealed the Juilliard-trained pianist was friends with John Mello, the father of Parcell's child. The prosecution showed the two exchanged more than 1,000 messages, including the day of Parcell's murder.
Investigators also found Hughes' DNA under Parcell's fingernails, even though he tried to clean them with paint thinner. Hughes admitted on the stand in testimony this week his crime did not constitute murder because he did it for a, quote, just cause. In the end, the jury mostly siding with the prosecution, finding Hughes guilty of 5 charges, including murder, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, burglary first degree, harassment second degree, and conspiracy to commit harassment second degree. Now, Hughes was found not guilty of first degree harassment and conspiracy to commit harassment first degree, but those verdicts essentially a non-factor when it came to sentencing.
Hughes was sentenced to life in prison. In Fox Carolina's Alexa Erbach joining us in studio now. It was an emotional time in that courtroom as that verdict and sentencing were read.
And it took just 3 hours of deliberations before a jury convicted Greenville County man Zachary Hughes guilty of murdering Christina Parcell in October of 2021. Then a life sentence handed down by the judge just minutes later.
If you cannot control your emotions, I'm going to give you an opportunity to leave. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to stay. But for everybody involved, please, control your emotions.
The jury then delivering 5 guilty charges against now convicted murderer Zachary Hughes. The sister of Christina Parcell addressing the courtroom after the verdict, asking the judge to consider what she calls a lack of remorse from Hughes before his sentencing.
Did he shake? Did he look visibly distressed? Did he ever once look nauseated, as he described dragging my sister through my living room? Cold doesn't begin to describe the lack of emotion.
Zachary Hughes' father then stepping up to speak on his son's behalf, saying his family accepts the verdict, but appealing to the judge to consider what he calls his son's, quote, moral compass.
He has such a strong moral compass and a desire for the truth that sometimes he actually hurts himself. He would quote Edmund Burke on this: the only thing necessary for evil to prosper is for good men to do nothing.
David Hughes speaking to Christina Parcell's sister directly.
But you know, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm not supposed to mention her name. I'm sorry.
Zachary Hughes choosing not to address the court. After a few minutes, the judge then sentencing Hughes to life in prison for murder and burglary.
Zachary David Hughes, indictment for murder. You're to be committed to the State Department of Corrections for life.
Hughes was also sentenced to 5 years for possession of a weapon for a violent crime. He quickly left the courtroom along with his team after sentencing. Alexa Erbach, Fox Carolina News.